like I said, I think even in Ghost, they're called the
Aimless Ghouls.
Aimless Ghouls. It's just like, yo, man, I ain't one of the backup dancers, man. Sure, put some respect on my name.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Last Words on the Pit.
Speaking of Corey Taylor, Slipknot accidentally revealed the identity of the Tortilla Man. Oh no!
Yes.
There's only one guy. We don't know exactly who it is in that band now. Do you guys care?
Yes and no. You know, I personally don't. I think, though, I'm also a very jaded music industry person, so sometimes I don't know that you should really trust my opinion on things like that. But at the same time, I could appreciate why other people care, because it's kind of fun. Like, these are like good kind of conspiracy theories, like who's in the band, who's under the mask, and everyone's got an idea, and it's kind of fun because you get to be an internet sleuth. So I think it's like a quirky kind of mystery everyone can kind of get involved in, and it's harmless, it's fun, it's just a good distraction. So I get why people care, but also I don't.
Let me rephrase this question. Do you think that this type of mystique, like in a Ghost or a Slipknot, or like I guess like 90s Slipknot when people didn't know who they were, do you think that adds like value to the band? Like, I think a lot of people might say that like a Ghost gets as big as it gets because of like partly the mystique behind the band. What do you think?
I think it absolutely helps right away. As long as you can keep it going, keep it going. But the thing about now is it's the internet age. Everyone's like has like a true crime podcast or something. So, everyone's like an internet sleuth. So pretty much V-Man joined the band and he was found out almost immediately. And Tortilla Man, I think, was found out pretty soon too. I mean, so it's funny because John and Chris from Bad Wolves are like, I love Slipknot, but they like really love Slipknot, and they are all about it. I was like, I don't care. I mean, you're one of the hitting guys, right? They hit the stuff guys.
The trash can men,
Yeah, I mean, like, and listen, I love to do Slipknot, but I just know. I mean, I just love the name. Tortilla Man, very creative. I love it.
I love that too, because when I first heard that they were calling that like someone was accidentally nicknamed Tortilla Man, I would envision Mr. Potato Head from Toy Story 3, and I was like, oh, this is gonna rule. There's gonna be a little mustache. I'm in.
I'm just imagining a restaurant that only serves tortillas, like no toppings.
I'm so disappointed that he hasn't like flipped tortillas on stage, that he hasn't like been cooking a quesadilla at some point on stage. I thought that was going to be, tortillas were going to be a lot more of his identity, and I feel like it's just been a superficial thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he works a food truck after the set.
That's what I'm saying, man.
A rotating, like kind of like how his drum set like rotate. Yeah, get the food truck. It just turns around.
That's a rotating food truck on stage is a pretty kind of an awesome idea. Is like, and then he starts, serving little tinfoil wrapped Mexican food to the various members of Slipknot. That's the way to do it, man.
I would absolutely go to every Slipknot concert ever if it guaranteed I would get like a free enchilada.
Tortilla man, get your quesadilla from Slipknot. Viva Slipknot!
Olay.
Clown, one of the members absolutely has given me candy in the audience. Like, they just run around the perimeter of like the where the seats are usually in the amphitheater and hand out Twizzlers and like lollipops and stuff. I want to say it was Clown. So this isn't really like too off the beaten path. I really don't see this unreasonable. What's the difference?
To get back to like mystique. Here's the thing. I want every band to also have a food gimmick. Like, that's just how it is. I want a treat.
I love how you tried to get us to talk about like a broad idea of mystique, and instead we just talked about Mexican food for
100%. Mexican food gimmick in every band. Wolves at the Taco Bell. Change the name. I'm here for it.
I swear to you, I have had free Taco Bell at Municipal Waste. Like, after the show, I'm walking out, and the band absolutely was just standing there handing out tacos. They had like the cases, like the party packs, and we're just handing tacos to everyone. That was a great night, great show, and I left with a taco, a couple of them actually.
Anyway, yeah, keep the mystique with your band if you can. And here's the thing: when the mystique is gone, Mexican food.
I mean, I think the problem with what we're talking about, man, is a lot of times the bands are at odds with their own mystique, where like Tobias Forge is like, I'm going to be Papa Emeritus. And then some moment he's like, yeah, but what about Tobias Forge, man? Why, you know, what about my thing? And all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I am going to go unmasked. And I think we see that with all these bands, like Slipknot. You can tell eventually they were like, no, I want to do the interview. I want to be a person. And so I feel like a lot of bands sort of eventually ruin it for themselves because they kind of want to like, you know, get out in front of it and own up to their own stuff and everything, you know?
Except for Buckethead. We still have Buckethead.
There you go.
Fair.
One thing I want to say about this is something I thought about recently. And there was like a trope with like black comedians. Dave Chappelle was like, he's like, I'm not wearing a dress. Because like there was this thing of like Martin Lawrence had to wear a dress. And then like Eddie Murphy was cross-dressing. To me, the metal version of that is don't let the singer put you in a mask and like cover you up, because that basically is you're signing your own death warrant, because that means they can just get rid of you and no one will miss you. I'm like, so I'm telling people on the come up, don't let them put you in something where you're just going to be part of the furniture. All right. That's my PSA for the day. All right.
PSA for the day.
That makes a lot of sense because I feel like bands like Gwar and whatnot, there are a lot of members I don't really know because they were just like ballsack from like 98 to 2002 or something like that. You know what I mean? So,
well, you can do a character, right? Where it's like, at least the guys from Slipknot, it's like each guy has their mask where you associate it with that person. But if you become kind of like I said, I think even in Ghost, they're called the
Nameless Ghouls.
Nameless Ghouls. It's just like, yo, man, I ain't one of the backup dancers, man. Sure. Put some respect on my name. Yeah, but there's also the element too, I think, if you're an up-and-coming band, right? If you're not out there being active on social media and promoting, the industry, your managers and labels will kind of characterize you as being lazy. So it's kind of a weird time where it's almost very difficult to be anonymous now, because unless maybe your social media is under your character's name or something. I don't know.
You know, I think it gets really complicated. Like it's all about how you work with the Gimmick. I think that Tobias, like, I think he set the Nameless School thing up as in the wrong format. Like make people understand that they are basically musical TaskRabbits, that they are here to just fill a role for a little bit, present it like that. And then in a Slipknot, when they got all the new members, that's sort of like a little bit of the dream, to be a distinct character in like a big band, but then you get to kind of like disappear from the fame a little bit. I think that I definitely get that there's value to that, to being able to be anonymous.
Yeah, but there's also, you know, there's a value attached to kind of a persona, right? Mm-hmm. Like it means something. Like I could show you Slash's silhouette and you know who it is. And but that is a thing that he created and built and he takes with him. But unfortunately, you know, I think even for someone like, let's look at someone like Corey Taylor, who has become a massive star outside of his persona in Slipknot. And I imagine that there was a certain amount of effort he took to do that, because it's like this thing of, wow, this thing is big, but what about me? You know, I still want to kind of get credit for being a great singer, being a great performer, a great songwriter. And, you know, I think why he's probably going out of his way to establish himself outside of that as well. So this probably goes both ways, you know?
For sure. I mean, you know, like we're doing this show right now, and there's part of me that's like, man, I should have maybe the road was to just wear face paint the whole time and then no one knows when we're done here.